You check your phone one more time. Nothing. The last message sits there, read hours ago. The warmth in your chest from last week's late-night conversation has turned cold. They laughed at your jokes. They opened up about their fears. They made you believe this was real. Then silence. They disappeared. And the worst part? A small voice in your head whispers, "What did I do wrong?" If this has ever happened to you, if someone you cared about suddenly vanished without a word, you're not alone. And this video isn't just about them. It's about the hidden psychology that drives people to disappear and the part of you that keeps getting pulled into it. Let's go deeper. Picture this. You're in the middle of what feels like a genuine connection. Texts fly back and forth, plans are made, inside jokes start forming. You feel seen in a way that's rare. Then one day, the reply's slow. Shorter answers, then nothing. You replay every interaction, searching for the moment you ruined it. Was it that one text? Were you too much? Not enough? This isn't just modern dating etiquette failing. This is an ancient survival mechanism wearing a new digital mask, and it's rewiring how we connect, or fail to, in ways most of us never see coming. Why do people disappear? Not because they're evil. Not always because they stopped caring, but because something inside them triggered a panic older than any app notification. Let me tell you about Sarah. She met Mark on a hiking trail in Colorado. Great conversation, shared values, the kind of effortless chemistry that makes you cancel other plans. For 6 weeks, it was perfect. Then Mark started pulling back, less available, vague responses. One Tuesday, he sent a heart emoji and said he was swamped with work. That was the last she heard from him. For months, Sarah spiraled. She wasn't dramatic. She's a successful teacher with friends and hobbies, but the not knowing aided her. Did I scare him off? Was I too eager? What she didn't know, what most of us don't know when it happens, is that Mark wasn't running from her. He was running from the feeling of needing someone, from the terror that closeness brings up old wounds he thought he'd buried. This is where attachment theory quietly ruins or saves lives. Not the pop psychology version. The real wiring in your nervous system shaped by how you were cared for as a kid. Some people develop an avoidant attachment style. As children, they learned that depending on others leads to disappointment. Caregivers were distant, unpredictable, or overwhelmed. So their young brain adapted, "I'll be fine on my own." Needing people is dangerous. Fast forward to adulthood, they crave connection like anyone else. They date, they fall for someone. But as intimacy grows, alarm bells go off. Their body floods with stress. Closeness starts feeling like a threat to their independence, their safety, their very sense of self. So they do what their nervous system trained them to do since childhood. They disappear. It's not a conscious plot to hurt you. It's an automatic deactivation strategy. Their brain says, pull back before you get swallowed, before they see the real you and leave anyway. And in the moment, it feels like relief. The anxiety drops. They can breathe again until the pattern repeats. You might be thinking, but they seem so into it. Exactly. That's the contradiction that destroys people on the receiving end. The hot and cold, the intense connection followed by sudden frost. Avoidance can be charming, deep and present, right up until the point where feelings demand responsibility. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many of us who get ghosted have our own patterns too. Maybe anxious attachment, the fear that love is unstable, that you must earn it by being perfect or available. When someone disappears, it confirms your deepest fear. I'm not enough. So you chase, you over-explain, you wait for closure that never comes, and the cycle feeds itself. Psychology research shows this dance is incredibly common. Avoidant and anxious types often find each other like magnets. The anxious person's pursuit triggers the avoidance withdrawal, which triggers more pursuit. It's not love, it's nervous system ping pong. But people disappear for other reasons too. Sometimes it's fear of confrontation. They don't want to say, I'm not feeling it, because they hate seeing disappointment in your eyes. They don't want to feel like the bad guy. So silence becomes the easier cruelty. It's emotional cowardice dressed up as kindness. Other times it's overwhelm. Life hits, work stress, family issues, mental health dips, and they don't have the tools to communicate, I need space. Instead of saying that, they vanish, protecting their bandwidth at the cost of your peace. And yes, sometimes it's simpler, low interest. They enjoyed the attention, but never saw it going anywhere serious. Ghosting feels like the cleanest exit when you never fully entered. The digital world makes it worse. No shared social circles pressuring accountability, no awkward coffee shop run-in. Just a block button and a new profile to swipe. Technology handed us godlike power to rewrite reality and erase people. We use it. Now here's the twist that changes everything. The people who disappear aren't always the villains in your story. Sometimes they're the mirror. What if their vanishing is teaching you about your boundaries? your tolerance for inconsistency, your ability to sit with uncertainty instead of spiraling into self-blame. What if the real ghost isn't them? It's the version of you that keeps choosing people who can't stay. I've seen it over and over. The ones who get repeatedly ghosted often have a pattern of ignoring early red flags, the slow replies they excused, the vague future plans, the way they felt anxious more than excited, but hope and chemistry clouded the data. The hidden psychology isn't just about their avoidance. It's about how we abandon ourselves first. Think about it. When someone starts pulling away, your body knows. But instead of trusting that signal and creating distance, many of us lean in harder. We become detectives of their mood. We perform. We shrink ourselves, hoping it'll make them stay. That's the real disappearance. The quiet fading of your own self-worth.
Science backs this up. Studies on ghosting show it activates the same brain regions as physical pain. Rejection hurts because, evolutionarily, being cast out from the tribe meant death. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a text that never comes and actual danger. So you ruminate. You lose sleep. You question your value, all because one person couldn't send 3 honest sentences. But here's where power returns to you. Understanding this psychology is the beginning of freedom. First, recognize the pattern in others. If someone is hot and cold, if they pull away when things get real, if they can't handle basic emotional conversations, that's data, not a puzzle for you to solve. Second, heal your own pot. If you have anxious tendencies, work on self-soothing. Build a life so full that one person's silence doesn't shake your foundation. Practice secure attachment by choosing people who communicate even when it's uncomfortable. Third, for those who disappear. If that's you reading this, and some of you know it is, the cost is higher than you think. Every time you ghost, you reinforce the belief that you're not capable of hard things. You rob yourself of deeper intimacy. You leave a trail of confusion that eventually circles back as your own loneliness. The courageous move isn't disappearing. It's learning to say, hey, I've really enjoyed getting to know you, but I don't think we're a match. Wishing you the best. It takes 30 seconds. It honors both people. You might lose the illusion of being the nice guy, but you gain integrity, and strangely, that makes future connections stronger. There's another layer most videos miss. Sometimes disappearing is a form of self-protection for good reason. Maybe they sensed toxicity. Maybe past trauma made real vulnerability feel life-threatening. Maybe they're working through things they don't know how to explain. Compassion doesn't mean excusing the behavior. It means stopping the story that their silence defines your worth. You are not the sum of who left you in the dark. The people who disappear are often running from themselves more than from you. Their vanishing act says everything about their internal chaos and very little about your lovability. So now what? Stop waiting for closure from people who chose silence. Give it to yourself. Write the unsent letter. Feel the anger. Grieve the fantasy. Then close the book. Use the pain as information. What patterns are you repeating? What do you need to feel safe in connection? Who shows up consistently? Not just when it's easy. Build your life around people who can handle the full spectrum, the good mornings and the tough conversations. People whose nervous systems don't treat intimacy like a threat. Because here's the beautiful irony. The ones who learn to stay through discomfort create the deepest bonds. They turn the fear of abandonment into proof that love can endure. You deserve that. Not the version that feels like walking on eggshells. Not the one where you're always guessing. The kind where someone sees all of you. The messy, the beautiful, the human, and chooses to remain. The next time someone starts to fade, try something radical. Instead of chasing, pause. Ask yourself, do I want someone I have to convince to stay? Then let them go. Not with bitterness, with clarity. Because every disappearance, if you let it, teaches you how to show up more fully for yourself. And ironically, that's what makes the right people unable to disappear. They'll be too busy falling deeper. The hidden psychology of people who disappear isn't ultimately about ghosts. It's about the living, about what we're willing to tolerate, about the courage to face our patterns instead of fleeing them. You've been on both sides, haven't you? The one left wondering, maybe the one who pulled away once or twice. The real question isn't, why did they leave? It's, who am I becoming in response? Answer that honestly, and the disappearances lose their power, because the strongest connections aren't the ones that never face doubt. They're the ones where both people choose again and again not to vanish when it gets hard. Start there with yourself and watch how everything changes.